do we have any regrets? Wow.
Because we've been now officially travelling for 100 days. The overall estimate of what we spent so far, though, we'll just give you that, is probably about...
Hi guys, I'm Izzy.
And I'm Jake.
And in June, we quit our jobs and booked a one-way flight to backpack around the world. We have decided to make videos along the way of travel tips, advice, how to backpack on a budget, and general vlogs of what we get up to. If you would like to follow us on our journey, please subscribe and enjoy the video.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. So we might be doing a bit quiet because we're currently staying in a hostel and we're in the shared area at the moment to do this video.
Well, no one's here.
Yeah, and there could be people like behind us and stuff, so we're trying to be...
like this,
yeah, we get really nervous filming in front of anybody.
We don't want people like judge us and wait for, which we're probably not, but so we're going to do our 3-month recap because we've been now officially travelling for 100 days.
It is 100 days today when we're filming this, yeah.
I don't know how she's done it, honestly.
We spent every day together before this, so...
It's...
yeah. Which is actually probably we should say, a lot of people have asked us, oh, you know, always seen a lot of people online saying, oh, we didn't know if we'd be able to travel together, not as specifically, but like other travel couples. They'd be like, oh, we don't know if we'd be able to travel together because it's spending 24 hours with someone, but we have literally, since knowing each other, have spent 24 hours together every day.
And then living together.
And we've always worked
the
together,
same job.
so yeah.
So my best
We're
friends,
very used to each other by now.
very lucky, very lucky. So yeah, we're going to talk about why we wanted to go travelling and what situation we were in before we were going travelling, what jobs we were working at, how much we've saved, and then just a recap of every country we've been to, the pros and the cons of everything, what we experienced so far. So we worked, you see, I'm Jake, that's Izzy. It's called Izzy and Jake. If you couldn't guess who it was, then you know, but yeah, just let you know I'm Jake, that's Izzy. And we worked in the hotel industry before we came. We did originally work Tesco night shift during lockdown, so it was the only job going on, so it was really good to have. And then we both got a job in a place called the George Hotel, which is in Charlotte in Hexham, Newcastle. It was hilarious when we went for an interview because I'm colour deficient, so I can't really see many colours. And we wore exactly the same colours and we went for the interview at the same time. And our boss who took us on was like, was this on purpose? And we were like, oh, no.
We didn't. But from first meeting each other, actually, we talked about how we always wanted to travel and how we thought we should just travel together. This is before we even became boyfriend and girlfriend. We were like, why don't we travel somewhere together?
We were speaking as friends. And we were
literally like 2 months into dating, we went on a trip to Amsterdam together. And then we got put in lockdown, and we've just literally been together every day ever since.
And I wouldn't change it for the world,
and,
which makes me the happiest.
So yeah, we've always been talking about travelling. Obviously, COVID was a pretty big unforeseen setback. So we've basically spent the last 3 years saving up to go travelling. We had a few setbacks in the sense that COVID, and we also rented a flat in Hexham for about a year, which took all of our money.
For a one-bedroom flat,
in that
we were
1
paying
year,
about
we didn't save anything.
$1,200, and it was ridiculous, everything included. But if we didn't.
But it was necessary for us at the time. So yeah, and then like Jake said, we moved to a job in the hotel industry, and in that job we actually got given staff living, which for like one kind of double room, it was about £200 a month, I think, for both of us. Eventually we got moved into a bit of a bigger flat area, which was a little bit more, but still ridiculously cheap compared to what we were paying in our one-bedroom flat in Hexham. So we managed to save, that was in the last year before actually coming away. So in that last year, that's basically when we saved the majority of our money. And yeah, we didn't mind the job there. It was a good way of making money, good. Extra tips, things like that.
Like Isabel said, we got put in a flat because we both got promoted. So Isabel was the restaurant manager of the whole hotel, and I was the assistant manager of the hotel. So we both moved up into higher positions, which gave us the chance to live in this flat, which was so much better than the room because we had to share bathrooms.
Yeah, literally in this one room, I mean, it was literally like the size of a double room. It had a sink in it, and then you had to share a bathroom with all the other people and stuff. So it wasn't the best. So when we moved into the flat area that had its own bathroom and kitchen and bedroom and living area, it was great. It was really great.
It was so much better. It made the last year a lot easier.
So yeah, about Christmas time before we left, that's when we kind of decided on a date to go. We'd always kind of said, oh, you know, we'll not put a date on it because we don't want to get disheartened if we pass that date. So it was kind of about Christmas
Christmas time.
2022 when we were like, okay, let's make it June
Yeah.
2023, because at this point we'd just got our promotion, so we thought let's get like 6 months in of being on a higher wage
Yeah,
and
and save up a
things
bit more
like
money.
that.
And
So
then
yeah, we set the date for June the 19th.
in which we lived to. We left on June the 19th.
Mhm.
I've never been outside of Europe before, you know, I've been to like Greece, Amsterdam, Spain and stuff.
Oh, you've been to America?
And
We went to New
I went,
York
oh, yeah, we
actually
went to New
in
York in January,
2023.
and I totally lie. So the first place we went to was India, and it was a massive, massive culture shock
Yeah.
for me.
I thought I'd just say we literally booked the flight to India a week before we left. We had like about a month before we left, that's when we sorted out like the travel insurance. A couple of months before is when we were looking into visas, vaccinations, things like that. But it was literally a week before we left that we booked the flight to India and the
Literally.
hotels in India. So
Literally.
yeah, and we didn't book anything else. Nothing. We just booked the flight to India, the accommodation in India, and like the transport in between to like Delhi to Agra and things like that.
To Jaipur and stuff. So yeah, but walking out when we arrived in Delhi and leaving that airport, and it was just a massive culture shock for me. Like, it was just crazy, like how many people there was, people grabbing you to go in the tuk-tuks. I've never really experienced it, and I was getting really angry at the time because I was like, well, why are they doing this to me? This isn't happening in England. And then give it a couple of days of travelling, I realised that England's not the norm, like everywhere is different. India was very, very intense, beautiful food. But yeah, it was definitely, I'm glad we went to India first because it's got me prepared, and it taught me how to say no to people, because
Yeah.
I was always a yes man before that.
If you've seen any of the YouTube videos before me and Jake went away, it was actually kind of like my YouTube channel, and there are a few of my travels that I did. So I actually have been to Thailand, Bali, Malaysia and Japan
Peru.
before. Asia-wise, yeah. I went to Peru in 2019 as well.
I went to
But
Peru.
like Asia-wise, that's where I've been to. And I did like a volunteer program and everything, so I still got to experience the culture a little bit, but it wasn't really anywhere to the extent as backpacking like just does, with no set plans or
Because
anything
you
like
always
that.
done yours in the volunteer group, so you always
Yeah,
would.
you were with the group. Like, yeah, you flew over there by yourself, but everything else was like with the group, and then you kind of like make friends there, and then that's what you do the trips with. So this was also like a big new experience for me as well, because I'd never done anything like that. But yeah, so we don't really want to go too in detail about each country because we have separate videos on all of them. So if you want to hear about our time in India, Japan, South Korea, we have plenty of videos. We're just kind
Good
of doing.
marketing, I like that. I like that.
We're just kind of doing like a big overview of our 3 months in total so far. I did want to say actually that while we were in India, we had actually planned on going to Nepal afterwards, and we did actually have a bus booked from India to Nepal at the time. But before coming away, we realised that, well, while we were in India, we realised that we really didn't want to be doing a land border crossing this early on into our trip. So we actually cancelled Nepal altogether and went straight to Japan, which is kind of the beauty of not booking too many things in advance. Like the bus that we booked, that was completely refundable. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people ask us, how far in advance do you plan things? And we literally keep it like maximum 5 days before,
Yeah,
because
maximum.
things change all the time. You can change your mind within yourselves.
You could become ill and not be able to travel and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you just, I like the way we're doing it, and it's worked out perfectly so far. Touch wood. And
Yeah.
I am touching wood right now. But yeah,
So yeah, India was definitely an experience.
India was definitely an experience.
And then we went to Japan.
In Japan, it is, honestly, if you ever get the chance to go to Japan, I totally advise you. It was one of the best times of my life so far. It was just the whole time being there, it was just amazing. It was that good that when we get back to England after we travel, I'm going to look for reasons to move to
To go back to Japan.
because I loved it that much. The food there, the people, just how clean it was, the respect you get, like just
Yeah.
everyone, it was just absolutely amazing. And the food
The
food
food,
is
yeah.
absolutely amazing. Thank you, Simon.
Japan is definitely the country where we've found the food the absolute best. Like, I could eat Japanese food forever.
Yeah, me too. And I
we
can
were
speak to
also-
Japanese people forever because
Yeah.
they're so nice.
We were also very fortunate that I have some family that live over there, so we were able to stay with them for 5 days in total of our
Yeah.
trip. So we were in India for 2 weeks, and then we did 2 weeks in Japan. We spent 5 days with family, and then we spent the remainder of the time
In Kawasaki in a hostel.
yeah, exploring Tokyo and places like that. We didn't want to spend too long in Japan because I knew from experience that it was more on the expensive side, especially for Asia. So we decided to only stay in like the Tokyo area, so we didn't have to pay for all the bullet trains and things like that, which are cool experiences. I do feel grateful that I have done them. But together we decided we want to save as much money as we can, so we're just going to stay in the one area to kind of save money that way.
Yeah.
And then we went to
South Korea.
Seoul.
Yeah, South Korea was amazing again. Really, really good. People really, really nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful things that we saw.
We were there for 5 days.
5
5 nights, 6 days.
5 nights, 6 days.
6 days.
It was amazing. I really
We
enjoyed
really
South Korea.
liked
The food there was really good.
Mhm.
Tteokbokki.
Tteokbokki, I think it's
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then from South Korea we went to Hong Kong. Now Hong Kong was the first place that we kind of struggled in because of the place that we were staying in. I mean, you get what you pay for, and we pay for the cheapest one because Hong Kong's quite expensive. But the living conditions that we were living in for a couple of days, it just wasn't good at all. It wasn't relaxing. It wasn't. But yeah, so I enjoyed Hong Kong. It's beautiful, really expensive in
really
Japan.
hot as well,
Really,
boiling.
really hot.
Japan was as well, but Hong Kong was like on another level
Yeah, Hong
of
Kong,
heat.
yeah.
We walked up to the, we got the escalators, like the longest escalators in the world, up to like this really high peak, but then we had to walk all the way back down, and we were
I
roasted
thought it was
by
I
the
was
end of
going to
it.
die.
We thought we were going to pass out at some point because the heat was mad.
It was crazy. And from Hong Kong,
Yeah.
we went to Cambodia.
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 Yeah, so we just wanted to say as well, again, with not booking too many things in advance, we were very fortunate in this sense that we had initially planned on going from Hong Kong to Vietnam, and then as I've kind of constantly been looking at the visa rules on the gov.uk website, I saw that, so this was probably about mid to end of July at this point, and I was looking, and it actually, Vietnam had changed their travel requirements so that from August the 15th, you could go on a tourist visa for up to 45 days when it had previously been 15 days. So obviously we jumped at that because Vietnam is a country that we really wanted to see, and of course we would want to go there for 45 days as opposed to 15, because 15 days really isn't a lot to see a whole country. So we'd initially planned going to Vietnam after Hong Kong, but we decided to detour and go to Cambodia, so
yeah.
that by the time we got to Vietnam it was past August the 15th and we could do the 45-day tourist visa.
Cambodia was very, very good. A lot of people, family and stuff, told us to worry about going to Cambodia because it's all the politics and everything going on with it. But we found it probably one of the safest countries we've been in, other than Japan and South Korea.
Yeah, we have no issues.
No issues. Everyone was nice and friendly.
For 30 days.
Yeah.
We did have to get a visa before going there, like we did with India. Not too expensive. We did fly through all these places, so we can't speak for how the land crossings work into these places, but everything's been really easy at immigration so far. But yeah, like Jay said, we found it so safe there. We loved it there actually. We had a really nice time.
Really good time in Cambodia. Really, really good. The food was wasn't as good as the other places, but
yeah, Cambodia is like the first country we been to where it's definitely like noodles, egg fried rice, you know,
Yeah.
it's definitely
there are a lot of repetitive
going
stuff.
from like amazing food like Japan to kind of having like noodles and rice every day does feel a bit repetitive, which is
Yeah.
why we are so grateful for the odd McDonald's we get to have every now and then,
really,
because it
we had one yesterday.
boosts the
Yeah.
sodium levels and
Serotonin.
yeah, serotonin levels, yeah. But yeah, so we spent that time in Cambodia. Again, we're not going too specific into details about what we
You
did.
go
in
watch the video.
countries. Yeah.
Go watch it. Take some time.
Yeah, and then we
We are
flew
in
into Vietnam.
Vietnam.
We got into Vietnam, oh gosh, end of August,
End of August, yeah. I think it was like the 20th of
Yeah.
August we got into.
and we leave on October the 1st. So we currently don't have too many days left now. I think we have nine days left. So obviously, like we said, we've got the 45-day tourist visa, but what we recommend doing, you don't have to, obviously, this is just what we've been doing. However long the tourist visas are, we've been kind of leaving a couple of days before that. For example, in Cambodia, you have 30 days, so we kind of stayed until the 27th, 28th day, I think
Yeah.
it was, because it gives you time if, for example, a plane gets cancelled, your way out gets cancelled, it means that you won't overstay your visa.
Yeah.
So we would have like a couple of days to book another flight, book another way out of there, which is what we've also done for Vietnam. We've decided to stay for 38 days out of the 45, not only because it was the cheapest flight out of there around that time, but it also means that if the flight was to cancel, we would have plenty of days to get out of the country, because you don't want to be overstaying your visa.
Better safe than sorry. I always live and
Yeah.
die by that saying. And then we're off to Thailand on October the 1st.
Yeah, but we've
But-
really enjoyed Vietnam so far. It's
It's very good.
It's been really nice.
It's been
Yeah,
really, really
we,
nice.
Again, didn't have like many plans at all once entering Vietnam. We'd booked our we booked our hostel in Ho Chi Minh City, and then we had nothing planned after that. So basically what we've been doing is making a list of the places we definitely want to see in the country, and then just kind of working our way, again only booking a couple of days in advance, which means that some places we didn't want to see or didn't want to go to as long that we initially planned on, we've been able to do that. For example, we were going to go to Sapa after Halong Bay, but decided we didn't want to anymore, so we just came straight to Hanoi without losing any kind of money or
Hanoi's
anything
really
like that.
good.
Yeah,
Really,
Hanoi
really
feels
good.
like we feel so
Vintage.
emerged
In the culture. Emerged.
Is it immersed?
Emerged.
Immersed
You
into
say
the
emerged, I
culture.
say immersed in the culture.
It feels really cool because we've been in quite quiet parts of Vietnam so far, so this feels nice. There's more food options, more people around, more tourists. It feels very good. So yeah, that's where we are so far in our journey as of September the 19th, exactly 3 months into it. We, money-wise, which I know probably a lot of people are interested in,
Yes.
shameless self-promo, Jake and I have actually started this newsletter that we're going to be putting out at the end of each month that details how much we've spent in the month whilst backpacking. So yeah, we can kind of give you like an overall amount estimate of what we've spent so far, but if you really want to like dive into the exact amount we've gone through, check out the newsletter, which will be in the description box.
So the overall estimate of what we spent so far, though, we'll just give you
Together.
that, is probably about 8,000.
So roughly we've spent about 7-8, because I'm not sure how much
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
exactly spent, in 3 and a bit months. Again, we've spent quite a lot on flights for the first half, and the first couple of months we've been to kind of like the really expensive countries in Asia, which maybe in hindsight, or what we'd recommend to you is maybe don't either stay as long in as, or if you're really on a budget, maybe just don't go to them at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the flights have been really expensive from
Yeah.
Newcastle, from London to India,
It
India
was
to
400
Japan.
quid, Japan to India was like 600 quid each. It does add up a lot, and Isabel's probably shocked that we spent that I've spent that, but I think you must have spent near the same. Might be a couple of $100 difference, but that's it. But like Isabel said, we've got all the expensive flights now out the way with, and all the expensive countries kind of out the way with, if that makes sense.
I think I put in my newsletter that basically now the next massive thing that's going to be is the flight out of Australia.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely sounds like a lot, and probably can be quite an intimidating amount. Especially as I want to be transparent as well, we came away with probably about 30,000 between us. So it sounds like a lot, but we are also going to make that last as long as we can. So it sounds like we've spent a lot so far, but the countries we're in, basically from Cambodia onwards, is going to be so much cheaper, which
I
you
mean,
can
the
already
flight
tell.
from Vietnam to Thailand's £40. It's stuff like that. It's so cheap.
Yeah, like if you look at my look at the newsletters, like the first 2 months we spent like over $2,000 each, and then like the last month was like 800 to 1,000. So it's definitely going to get a lot lower from here. And if you want to keep in detail, or even if you're just a bit
Watch
nosy
Isabel's-
about it, is
have
just
a look at
them.
Isabel's newsletter. It's
I
really,
think they
really good.
are
I'm so proud of her to see
really-
it.
Yeah, if you're aspiring to backpack or travel around Asia, I think it's a good thing to see, because a lot of people aren't very transparent about how much they spend, because they're just kind of promoting traveling so much that they don't really want to scare you with numbers. But we are kind of at the point where we're like, surely it's better for you to know how much it's going to cost, so that you don't come away with not enough and then only can spend like 4 or 5 months away.
That's what I mean. Yeah, being transparent and honest is the main thing. And obviously, 4,200, like what I've said, I've spent. It seems like a lot. Yeah, it does. But we've been away for 100 days now, and we've gone all the expensive countries. Food, that's for hotels, that's for everything. So in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not that quite a lot. It might shock Isabel a little bit, but it's not that much, because from now, like, this hostel we're staying at.
Also, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but Jake also smokes tabs. So that does add to him. So if you don't smoke or anything like that, that will obviously
I've got a
be an
fizzy pop
increase.
addiction as well, where I've got to
He
have at
loves
least
the
kind of
energy
fizzy
drinks,
pops.
so it's there are definitely
factors
We
that-
also don't 100% stick to local food. We definitely have been picking a lot of Western food every now and then, because, well, the majority of the time, which again is more expensive. But when I say that it literally took us the last year and a bit to save the 30 grand between us, I'm being like 100% honest there. So if you go into it thinking, look, I'm going to give myself a year to save before going away, if you save for any longer than that, you'll have more than what we do. Granted,
But
I'm
not-
a bigger saver than Jake is.
Yeah, of course she is, but 30 grand, you might think, how did you save that? Is like, obviously we were, like mentioned just before in the video, we were pretty, like, we had a good job.
And we were pretty
position.
tight with our money, and we were lucky to have staff accommodation, which was so cheap.
That's what made us save. The staff accommodation was the one that really, really helped.
100%. Yeah.
But obviously not everyone's got the luxury of doing that. But just save as much as you can and just keep it sensible and tight. We don't drink alcohol, so the massive thing that we save is an alcohol. Everyone we meet's like, oh, you come for a drink? We're like, well, we don't really drink, and it's just like they spend.
Our idea of a night out was like ordering a pizza and watching a film. Like that's kind of what we spent that odd treat money on. So yeah, in that sense, we were pretty good about saving beforehand. So if you think that a year doesn't sound like enough to save that, then that's just because you spend money different, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah,
just give yourself a bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to give yourself a year. Give yourself 2 years. I mean, this is a lifetime experience that, trust me, you'll never ever regret. I was going to say forget. I was going to say.
Segues very well into one of my notes I've got written down. Do we have any regrets? Nice segue.
Yeah, happy days.
I think we should do this individually. So, do you have any regrets?
The only regrets that I don't have is saving up more money from younger Jake. Because if I saved up more money now that we're going away for a long time, no matter what, at least a year. If I saved up much money when I was younger, I would be able to go away for much, much longer. And now I'm away, I don't ever want to go back because I'm just thinking in my head it's just going to be the 9-to-5 jobs and all that, and I don't want to do that. So the only regret I've got is not saving extra money to go away before we came away, if that makes sense. My younger self, before I met Isabel, I was going out and stuff. And
do you have any travel, like whilst we're away, regrets? Maybe spending too much money.
No, because I don't feel like we're spending it. Like the only travel regret. No, I've got no travel regrets at all. I
feel the same as Jake. I'm a bit different shade that I don't feel like I could have saved more money before going away. Like I literally just did not spend any money on myself at all. So I don't feel like in that way. Maybe when we're away, a few of the countries that I maybe didn't enjoy as much, like Hong Kong, would probably only do literally like 2 or 3 days in. But again, it's a little bit difficult in the sense of you don't want to be flying like 4, 5, 6 hour flight to just spend like 2 nights somewhere. It almost feels like then fly out, because then it only feels like you have like
especially
a day.
with me flying.
Oh yeah,
it's not worth the crying and the shaking.
So yeah, I don't really feel like I have any regrets either. I feel like we've been doing it in a really good way. I think we've saved as much as we can in the areas that we've wanted to. So yeah, the next point I've got on here is where do we go next? As Jake said, on October the 1st we go to Bangkok in Thailand. Again, we only have the flight booked there. We don't have anything else booked there. We just know that the visa, the free tourist visa is 30 days, so we're probably going to be leaving about the 26th, 27th of October.
We've got Malaysia, which we don't know how long we're going to spend. How long did you want to spend in Malaysia?
Not sure.
How long's the visa?
In my mind, Malaysia's quite a cheap country, but
it is. I've been told Malaysia's really cheap.
So we'll probably
and
kind of keep
Indonesia.
it close to the visa.
So like Malaysia, we'll probably spend a month there. We'll probably spend a month in Indonesia. We'll probably spend
Singapore
a month.
is going to be our next expensive one, but we're literally doing like
2 nights.
I think we should do like 24
hours.
hours
24
there.
hours.
So yeah, so then we do Thailand and Malaysia. No, I love you. We do Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, and our final countries we want to do is Australia, New Zealand. Leave from Australia. And that's kind of like, that we don't have many future plans like exactly, but we know like Australia's are.
We're leaving Australia for a reason though, but that reason you will find out in a video many months later, and
Stay
it's for an
tuned,
absolute special reason which I really, really can't wait.
Whoa, saying too much.
Yeah, it's very important to us.
So yeah, I think we covered. I wrote quite a few points that I wanted to cover. But yeah, I think, one other thing I wanted to say just at the end of the video, we actually started our YouTube channel more kind of frequently. Like I said before, I made the odd YouTube video when I did some travelling, but we kind of full-time started this YouTube channel when we came away in June, and we had about 100 subscribers when we came away, and on September the 21st, we are nearly at 500. So to anybody that's new and subscribed, we did just want to say thank you.
Yeah, really, really appreciate it to everyone.
It means so much to us because like I just said, like we were on 100 subscribers before leaving. So everything I filmed before that, it took me like years just to get to 100 subscribers. So the fact that we've got like 400 subscribers in 3 months. It's like
It's
such a
absolutely
nice little
amazing.
confidence.
Thank you to everyone who
boost
spends
for
the
us.
time
Yeah.
just to like watch even just like a second of it. It really does mean the world to us. And to the people who commented on our previous video about Vietnam, it's stuff like that. If you watch the last video and look at the comments about what we it just means the world to us that we're actually helping out people. It doesn't matter about the views or anything like that, subscribers in the grand scheme of things. As long as we can help people out, like the last video in the comments.
Literally, the two main reasons we do it. One is because we both have terrible memories, so we definitely want to be looking back on these videos. I have a terrible memory, so it's so nice the thought of being able to look back on all these videos in so many years. And like Jake said, the second reason is like if we can help people, inform people, like talking about the money and stuff. A lot of people don't like talking about money. It's just kind of like a big like no for some reason, especially in England. But we want to tell you how much we're spending because we don't want you to think, oh, you know, some people say that you can come away with 3 grand and you'll be fine. Some people say you can come away with 30 grand and you won't have enough, or 100. Like, you know, a lot of people do things differently and save and spend differently, but if we can give you kind of an honest idea about what we're doing, then that's really important to us.
But yeah, yet again, thank you. Thank you for watching.
Please like and subscribe, and
Thank
see
you
you in
very
the
much.
next video.
See you in the next video. Thank you.
Bye.